At the start of my HR career, I did my HR internship in one of the government organization, basically a PSU. Though I'm not a big fan, but still, if you want to hear about my experience into that organization, you can watch this video. I did the very first video on my channel about my experience into all the companies I've worked so far. So if you haven't watched that yet, give it a watch after this video. And a lot of you have sent me queries asking that how to enter as a HR in government organizations. So this video is going to be about that. I'll discuss everything in detail, what are different kind of jobs and how you can get there, and I'll also share some website where you can pick or get to know about those government jobs. So with that, let's get started. So basically there are three categories, or you can say three routes through which you can work as a HR in government organization. Number one is PSU Banks, where you work as a HR in any one of the public sector banks. Number two is PSU companies, for example, your ONGC, your Coal India, Indian Oil, or all of that stuff. So in all these organizations, when you work as a HR, that's another thing. And number three is when you work as a HR in government universities or colleges. So let's discuss all these three one by one. The first comes your PSU banks. Now, so on the behalf of all PSU banks, IBPS conducts a common written exam or test, you can say, advertisement of which gets published around late October or November, and the exam is conducted around January, and then the final interviews happen around March or so. So these timelines can change a little bit by here and there, so you have to check what's the latest update. So the eligibility criteria looks something like this. They require a minimum of a bachelor's into human resource management or personnel management, and then you have to take this test. Basis that they shortlist the final candidate. Also on the screen here, now you can see the highlights of this exam. So this information is easily available on the websites which publish government jobs, or even if you search about this exam on the internet, you'll find all these detailed information. You can go through it and then can prepare yourself accordingly. One thing to remember here is that because it is a common written test, it's not for any particular location or a particular bank. You can be situated or placed basis your merit or score anywhere in India in any of the PSUs. So it can be in northern India, southern India, regardless of your preferences. You will have to locate to that place and work there as a HR. So I gave a little search while recording the video, and I saw that IBPS is conducting the prelims of this exam in December, and the exact dates are December 30 and 31st, 2023. And the IBPS main exam date will take place in January. I guess it's January 28, 2024. So these are the dates. You keep checking because there can be slight change here and there, so you have to keep yourself updated what's the exact date. Now second comes our PSU companies, for example Indian Oil, Coal India, ONGC, NTPC. So there are many other mini Ratna companies as well. So a lot of people target applying to these companies because they wish to work for these companies. Now the thing to remember here is that these companies do not conduct a fixed test for HR roles, and there are very few positions that come out every year for these companies, and it's not necessary that every of these companies hire a HR every year. It is not a confirmed thing. I mean, if they need, they will. If they do not, they will not. So it's not fixed as the bank thing. But what you have to do is you have to keep looking at the employment news, government employment news every week, so that you are updated. And there is no specialized advertisement for HR profiles. If these companies are hiring, to visit their advertisement and see if there is any HR position available. They are hiring for any HR position. There will be several positions for which the company will be hiring, and the HR position might be there or might not be there. So it's not that HR positions are published separately. You have to visit every employment hiring advertisement of these companies, of whichever you are targeting, every week to check if they're hiring any or not. But and also remember, they do not have any fixed date of any exam or something of that sort. Whenever the notification or the employment news arrives, obviously they announce it around 2 to 3 months in advance, and then the exam will be held. And after like several months, the interview will be conducted basis the scores of the written exam. And also keep in mind, this recruitment process takes a long time. It's not that you are a fresher, you need a job now, then you'll be settled in a month or two. It doesn't happen like that. And most of the time what I have seen is, because I've also applied for these roles in starting of my career, so many times these vacancies are for experienced people and they're very limited, and of course they publish it for everyone, but from my experience what I can say is that they prefer people who have already worked in a government organization or some kind of government setup than anybody who's coming from a corporate world. Obviously they say it in their advertisement that anybody can apply, anybody from corporate world or government experience, anybody can apply, but there are hardly like 1 or 2 positions published for a particular company, and there are thousands of applications. And it's very common, or you can say it's very human nature, that if they find a candidate who is from a government kind of experience, then they prefer that one. So that's just my perception. It might be wrong and you can totally give it a try, but make sure that you plan it that way. It's not so that today you decided you want to switch a company and then you start searching, you'll find something, and within a month you'll find your government HR job. It doesn't happen that way. It takes a lot of planning and a lot of time will be taken in the whole process, even if you get the job. So please keep that in mind. And on number 3 are our government jobs with universities or colleges. Now you can also be a HR in universities or colleges, or you can also teach HR in colleges and universities which are under government, and then be a government employee in HR. And for these teaching jobs, obviously you need to be a postgraduate, and then you need to take the UGC NET test exam. It's a very popular exam. All the teachers are required to take it, and if you score it well, then you can teach HR into government colleges or universities. Now here are a few websites that I know which publish government jobs, so you have to really dig deep to find the one which is relevant to you, because it's not really very systematic how you use Naukri.com in general, where you just give it a search and everything relevant pops up. So these websites doesn't really work as a search engine for the jobs where you can particularly search, but I would say that it works more of a advertisement portal where all the government open positions are published, and you search through it and you find which is relevant to you, and they do mention the date, like for which date it is published and what timeline is there for you to apply. So whatever is open at the time when you see the advertisements, apply for that if that is of your interest, and then start the process. So now let's talk about the internships. So for internships also you will find advertisements where PSU companies and universities or colleges have published any notification for internship. But there is another way as well. If you know somebody who can refer you into the organization as an intern, that also works, because sometimes what happens is when they have a requirement of any intern and the person who knows you happens to be in that organization, that person can refer you as an intern. But I'm not really sure of the stipend in this case, whether the company will pay you the stipend or not. It can be informal hire as a intern for your experience, but whatever the case may be, for your internship you want to learn as much as you can. Even if there is no stipend, it's still worth it, because you will get the exposure of the real work, because colleges hardly teach anything when it comes to HR other than the premier colleges. Whatever colleges are there for HR, you will find teachers from other department teaching HR, because the deans and people who head these colleges, B schools, they have this mentality that HR can be taught by anybody. So you will find faculty of IT or marketing or somebody else teaching HR along with their main subject. So that's a biggest mistake that colleges are doing, because HR is a separate specialization in itself, and students need that kind of depth to the subject so that they can understand and can have real practical skills, so that it's not difficult for them to get a job when they finally hit the market to search the job. So that was it, guys. If you still have queries related to this, put them in the comment section. If I have the answer, I'll definitely get back to you with the answer. With that, I'm signing off. You keep on watching more content on the HR destination to be a successful HR professional, and I'll see you in my next video. Till then, stay safe and healthy. Take care. Bye.